say, the Black Lives Matter movement was started because it was talking about police brutality. If you want an all Black Lives Matter movement that talks about gun violence in communities, including, Black communities, then start that movement with that name. But that's not what Black Lives Matter is about. It's not an all-encompassing. So if you're talking about, if someone started a movement that said, cancer matters, and then someone comes in and said, why aren't you talking about HIV? It's not the same thing. We're talking about cancer. So the Black Lives Matter movement is about police brutality and injustice in that manner, not about what's happening in Black neighborhoods. There are people who are working on that issue, and if you want to start that issue, why don't you start it? Do you understand what I'm saying?
But when you look at the organization, police brutality is not the only thing they're talking about.
I know that, but I agree, but that's not what the Black Lives Matter movement is about, Terry. Black Lives Matter is about police brutality and about criminal justice. It's not.
If you check out their What We Believe section, there's so many other issues that are being mixed into this. So for example, people say that this movement is against fathers, against traditional families. On their website, they say we disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure by supporting each other as extended families and the villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers and parents are comfortable. Well, nowhere in this sentence does it say father. In fact, they seem to intentionally exclude that word as if you don't really need fathers in society anymore. For some strange reason, this movement is also being mixed in with the whole LGBTQ community. They say, we foster a queer-affirming network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking. Abortion is mixed into this as well. They say we deserve it and thus we demand reproductive justice, i.e. abortion that gives us autonomy over our bodies. And so the issue is, some people think this is a police brutality issue, or maybe it's even a race issue. So they donate money to the movement, and in the process, they start supporting all of these other side movements like the Democrat Party, anti-fathers, abortion, homosexuality, and a bunch of other stuff that really has nothing to do with this whole issue.
People really look into the mission statement of Black Lives Matter, but I did. And when you look into it, there's a couple things that jump out to me. And I'm a Black man who's been Black, and my life has mattered since 1974. And this organization was founded in 2013. I'm proud of you. But I've been fighting this fight for me and for others a lot longer. Two things. My family structure is so vital, important to me. Not only the one I grew up in, but the one I'm trying to create right now. Being a father and a husband, that's my mission in life right now. How do I reconcile that, what I just told you, with this mission statement that says, quote, we dismantle the patriarchal practice. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement. When I know statistics, when I know my reality, forget statistics. I knew this before I even went to Columbia and saw these same statistics that I'm going to read to you right now. That children from single-parent homes versus two-parent homes. The children from the single-parent homes, this is in 1995 I was reading this. 5 times more likely to commit suicide, 6 times more likely to be in poverty, 9 times more likely to drop out of high school, 10 times more likely to abuse chemical substances, 14 times more likely to commit rape, 20 times more likely to end up in prison, and 32 times more likely to run away from home. I knew that. You know why I knew it? Because a lot of my friends didn't have family structures that were nuclear like mine, and they found themselves outside of their dreams and goals and aspirations. So when I see that, or as a mission statement for Black Lives Matter, it makes me scratch my head. When I also see...
Many see the slogan Black Lives Matter, or BLM, as a noble plea for equal treatment under the law. It's a cry to secure the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for everyone. But what does the Black Lives Matter organization actually stand for? To find out, look no further than their leaders, Alicia Garza, Opal Tometi, and Patrisse Cullors. Here's Cullors in a revealing 2015 interview.
We actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists.
Our violence in the Black community has gotten so out of hand. Last night, you guys may remember that I was talking about a radio show host, and that radio show host, if you didn't know, his name is Ricky Smiley. And as you see on the screen right now, Ricky Smiley is standing there with his what? With his daughter. Thank you, Evil, for saying that movie's a good movie. Can you get it on Netflix or Hulu? No, you cannot. I told you the places where you can get it. That's where you can get it at now. That's his young daughter. Ricky Smiley last night, for those of you who watched it, or if you are a fan of the website, tjskoc.com, you saw what he said. You heard what he said. Thank you, Brian. Put 52 on it. You heard what he said. He talked about the violence, and he was so upset, and he went off on violent black people, violence that black people are doing. Do y'all know right after he did that video, his daughter got shot? His young daughter that you see on the screen with him got shot 3 times.
Who? She's Aaron. What? She in the hospital right now.
No, what?
That's why I can't have focus, because I'm sitting up here trying to do the morning show and trying to book my flight to Houston
Aaron
to go and
was
see
shot?
about her. She was shot.
How's she
shot twice
doing?
last night. She's
What?
She's fine. Yeah, she's fine. It's just I'm just so angry right now. And I just made the video about the 8-year-old kid and my daughter going to Whataburger to get something to eat last night. And you know, I go to bed around about 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and I woke up to text message. I got to do the show. I came trying to focus, trying to do the show, and trying to figure out, because it ain't hardly any flights because of COVID. They,
For those who are wondering, this is the guy who used to come on the show a couple of times, Special K. Special K is a co-host on this show.
It's limited flights, so I got to, fly to Dallas and then drive down to Houston because it was a 7-hour layover. But the fact that she's, laying up in the hospital, I'm probably gonna have to go into surgery.
Oh my God!
She's just crying. She's crying. She's scared. I can't get to her, and I just hate it. You know what I'm saying? And all the stuff these people out here trying to do to fight for the rights of black people. This is no discredit to Black Lives Matter, because I believe that, and I'm with that movement 110%. And one has nothing to do with the other. But there are some criminals in our community that we need to do something about. They are out here, not just my daughter. Some kids didn't make it. That 8-year-old kid did not make it. I'm okay with my daughter.
Yeah.
She's gonna be fine. But the 2 8-year-old kids in Atlanta, the 8-year-old boy in Birmingham, they mama got to go. I get the luxury of going to the hospital, even if they don't let me upstairs, to see her waiting in the lobby, right? I get to wait in the lobby until the doctor comes down, and I get to text and talk to my daughter, because I spoke to her this morning. She was crying and scared. But just think about all the parents. Forget me.
Black Lives Matter, you have them accountable in y'all neighborhoods where Black lives should really matter, man. Look, I know y'all getting tired of me saying the same thing over and over again, but I'm always fighting for y'all, whether y'all know it or not, man. It's ridiculous. 127 people shot just in 3 states over the weekend. Black Lives Matter, man.
With that name, but that's not what Black Lives Matter is about. It's not an all-encompassing. So if you're talking about, if someone started a movement that said cancer matters, and then someone comes in and says, why aren't you talking about HIV? It's not the same thing. We're talking about cancer. So the Black Lives Matter movement is about police brutality and injustice in that manner, not about what's happening in black neighborhoods. There are people who are working on that issue, and if you want to start that issue, why don't you start it?